In the last few decades, car interiors have gone from looking like this, to this, and 10 years later to this, which sucks. For those of you who don't know, that screen in your car that is nearly the size of a TV by now is known as an infotainment system. This refers to any dashboard-mounted, touchscreen-based digital hub in vehicles that combines entertainment such as stereo and video with information such as GPS navigation, smartphone mirroring, and climate control. These systems are said to function as a central user interface, enhancing driver convenience, safety through hands-free controls, and vehicle customization. However, they often fail to function as intended. Although these luxurious interfaces seem essential to what makes a good driving experience, they oftentimes end up as more of a distraction than anything else. So if that is true, then why do nearly all cars come with these features, especially such large ones? To answer that, we have to go back to the beginning. The roots of modern infotainment systems can be traced all the way back to the 1930s, when AM radios were introduced into the automotive market for the first time. Despite being high in price, these early radios were far from user-friendly and proved to be unwieldy in practice. After that, when the 1950s rolled around, the FM radio was introduced. During this time, drivers sought to enjoy their own music while on the road, and this desire caused the expectation that vehicles should come equipped with music players, and automobile manufacturers scrambled to meet the need. An example of this is Chrysler, who launched a short-lived record-playing system that enabled drivers to do exactly as they wanted and enjoy their own music while driving. As you would expect though, there were many flaws that came along with these new technologies. Distorted audio quality was common due to road vibrations, which presented manufacturers with significant challenges, who were nonetheless committed to improve on this to dominate the automotive markets. Then came the 1980s, and this was crucial when the Aston Martin Lagonda was introduced with the world's first fully digital dashboard, containing computerized cathode ray tube screens with touch-sensitive controls. Despite its sci-fi and futuristic feel, the displays were, however, notoriously unreliable. Since then, the warning signs were clearly there, yet manufacturers were committed to these new infotainment systems as the world was shifting into a digital era. Common issues included melting components and constant electrical failures. It was only in 1986 that Buick managed to produce a fully functioning touchscreen infotainment system in their Rivera models. Although criticized for the distractions it created, it pioneered the integration of digital, touch-based controls in automobiles 2 decades before the technology became the standard. In the 1990s, drivers stepped into a new era where they could enjoy in-car navigation and superior sound quality in their vehicles. This was also the time when people started using CDs to play music while they were driving. CDs were simply better than cassette tapes as they were more durable and much more compact. But when MP3 playing units were introduced in vehicles, we reached the new frontier in car technology. The early 2000s gave us in-car infotainment systems that resemble the ones in modern vehicles. Such systems had touchscreens, audio playback, and GPS features. Gradually, Bluetooth connectivity and auxiliary inputs were introduced into these systems. Then something pretty big happened, and the first infotainment system with voice control hit the market in 2007 with the Ford Sync. Motorists were very excited to experience capabilities such as hands-free calling and voice-controlled music playback. And now with the momentum already going, in 2010, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay were introduced in vehicles. Some premium vehicle models even came equipped with in-car Wi-Fi connections. Now this caused tons of competition in the market, and manufacturers were competing very hard for who could come up with something new the fastest. Soon thereafter, in-car infotainment systems enabled users to access their favorite apps directly from the infotainment screen. Touchscreen features also became more intuitive and user-friendly, and this turned into a major sales point for cars. You could just imagine how excited people would be to show their friends and family their brand new dashboard equipped with literally everything you could ever need. However, as we know by now, large companies always tend to overdo things in an attempt to maximize profit until it reaches a point where it is no longer pleasant for users. Now, this might just be me, but except for the extremely obvious safety concerns that go with these things, I don't like screens in cars because they don't look good and they aren't that practical. Now, this might be a very broad statement, and of course, in some cases you do find a really nice car screen, but in general, these oversized monitors completely ruin the way that driving a car should feel for me. A major issue is the complicated menus that are found within these devices. With countless apps and hidden features, it is nearly impossible to know where everything is and how it works. This is actually quite common in all kinds of technology today, where in trying to provide maximum comfort for users, things actually do the opposite and become more complex, and it is just frustrating to use. The unfortunate result of this has been that even the most basic, essential features are now buried beneath 4 or 5 layers of touchscreen menus, making them very difficult to access. Some systems do, however, offer shortcut buttons or customizable interfaces to solve this problem, but it's not really enough to solve the problem at its root. Why not only provide physical buttons to control the essential features? Another thing that is also quite sad is how cars with a lack of physical controls look. Look at this, for example. This interior kind of gives off the same vibe as a hospital waiting room, as opposed to something that makes you feel at home in an interior like this one. I feel like a car should be filled with features that you are able to love, and not simply be a tool that gets you from one place to another. Cars with these modern, large-screen infotainment systems just seem so impersonal and unpleasant to be in. While in the past, the simple act of turning the volume up or down, changing the radio station, or controlling the temperature was easy to do while driving, in modern times these tasks sometimes take up to a full minute to do. And this is an absolutely massive distraction for drivers, which is in fact backed up by statistics. Time after time, studies show these screens can divert a driver's eyes for over 40 seconds. This far exceeds the 2-second threshold that doubles accident risk, which leads to slower reactions, poorer lane keeping, and dangerous distraction levels comparable to texting while driving. What's even more crazy is that research indicates that interacting with infotainment systems can cause distractions more severe than driving drunk. Yet everybody has access to this large infotainment system, which absolutely baffles me. I'm genuinely serious when I say that if you look up any article about the impact of modern infotainment systems, they all say the exact same thing, that it is a massive distraction to drivers and a huge cause of road accidents. On a more positive note, there are actually industry reversals taking place, with manufacturers such as Ferrari moving back towards physical buttons due to safety concerns. Now, I don't necessarily think that screens in cars should go away completely, since they sometimes could be very useful, such as the good old GPS navigation. I just think that if we know these things are a huge source of danger on the road, something should be done to solve the problem. Apparently, however, the problem is not just about screen size, but it is more of a combination of the design and the complexity of the interfaces. Intuitive and well-designed interfaces can actually help minimize distractions and make it easier for drivers to access information without taking their eyes off the road. So I guess you cannot completely blame automakers for this, since what a person does while driving is ultimately their own responsibility, but hopefully in the future we will see cleaner layouts that prioritize safety while offering essential functions. In any case, that is it from me for this video. I hope that you learned something new and that you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. So I hope you have a very good day and goodbye.